So I ask people the same thing every time. I put this link up. I know I put it in the war room, so it's pretty easy. Pretty small community, but I always ask people like, what makes you sign up to talk to a complete stranger? You and I have never spoken before, I don't think.
Yeah. Nope. I like talking to strangers just as much as you do.
I don't know about that. I'm a pro at it, but I hear you.
I mean, I'm not too shabby myself. I'm a little bit newer in the game than you are. I've been doing it for maybe 3 years now, just getting on a podcast and stuff like that. But I just like talking to strangers. I like running my mouth, meeting new people, seeing what we got in common, laughing, joking, having a good time. That's about all it is.
Dude, love it. Well, tell me where do you live? What's your business?
I am in Huntsville, Alabama right now. Well, my business is of course real estate. Let me say of course, but it's real estate. Particularly looking at multifamilies right now. But yeah, I'm stationed in Huntsville, Alabama, specifically at the Army Contracting Command, which is a blast. And that's about it. That's the story.
Easy. What kind of multifamily are you trying to
buy? So I'm looking at JVs. I like JVs, particularly in the Huntsville area. Huntsville is popping off, if you will, and doing really well. So looking at JV properties anywhere between only about 5 to 20, staying under 2 million, at least for the moment. We'll grow from there. I got to work on the capital raising, and I've got to find a lot of time to do a lot of things with not a lot of time to do them.
Yeah, you still full time.
You know how that goes. Yep, 100%. At least until 2027. January 1, 2027 is my date. Not that I'm counting or even aware of what date that is. But it's definitely gonna be the day that all that wraps up and I can move on to the next.
You stay in Huntsville?
That depends on what the wife wants to do. I've got zero decision in this. So whatever she wants to do is kind of what's gonna happen, and I'll just buy everywhere else.
Okay. I don't hate that. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to like plan ahead, like if you know where you're going to go, to like network ahead of time, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I mean, the catch is for her, she's very much orientated towards things she's comfortable with. She doesn't really like to go too far out of the scope, if you will, and she wants a support system. So it narrows her options down to Huntsville and Virginia, the 7 cities area. So, it's pretty easy. She started falling in love with Huntsville. She doesn't have the support system, but she loves it here. But she also has a support system in VA, and she wants to be close to family, the kids be close to family, all that great stuff. So I just have to spread out how I network and where I network at. So now it's just got to be a lot more places. That's all.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Easy. What problems you run into right now? You finding deals? Or you said you run into capital raise problems?
Yeah. So not so much capital raise problems. I'm still learning the capital raise. So now I've got deals coming in, and I'm working on doing better with capital raising. I think the big thing right now is just finding ways to do things with less time because of the Army
partners.
Because I work in a vault now too. So and that's what I'm after now. So I finally narrowed down some agents to help me out. I've got to find some partners who can help me underwrite consistently. And then I got to find my own time to be able to make phone calls and really lean into the networking piece. And then grow the podcast and the YouTube at the same time at some point. But for now, the others take priority.
It's a lot of work.
Tell me about it.
It's a lot of work. Yeah, partners. Partners make my life so much easier because now I only have to do the things that motivate me, that I'm excited about, and that makes life so much easier. So I don't know how much you've done with partners before, but like that's been like,
the game changer for you.
I mean, yeah, I hate to use that word game changer because it's like partners are not a game changer. Partners are been around since the dawn of people. It ain't new. I'm the last one to figure it out.
Right.
But that being said, what I used to think about partners was maybe a little more small-minded about it. Kind of like partners
Mm-hmm.
like add complexity. Partners mean smaller shares. Partners mean
Yeah.
Yeah, decision-making friction, yada yada yada, like all these perceived
Yeah.
things. But
Yeah.
what I found instead is partners mean that I can say,
Bless
excuse
you.
me, thank you. So, like on this last deal, this last big deal that I did a partnership with, which was a while ago, actually, now about 2 years
Mm-hmm.
ago. You know, partnership in that deal meant that I had to give up 66% of the deal, but I couldn't have done it without them anyways, because the deal was $4 million. So I couldn't have done the deal without them,
Right.
for starters. So, but I had to give up 66%. So I only got 33% of the deal. But
Mm-hmm.
I outsourced 100% of the work that I don't want to do.
I got, and that's the
Yeah,
best part.
and the other thing is, so like
That's
not only
absolutely
so
the
you're
best
like, okay,
part.
I have to do none of the work that I don't want to do, but I still get 33% of the returns.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, I spread the stress and responsibility out to split among partners as well. So it's like when the problems come, it's like, well, you're not the only one
Ooh.
bearing the problem. And then when you're trying to solve the problem, you're only
Right.
doing the things you want to do that you're good at.
Right.
And then you still make a good return. So, yeah. Anyways, I don't know. I'm not saying you were against partners, but I was just riffing. Like partners, you're like, hey, I need somebody to do underwriting. I'm
No,
like,
no, no.
Ryan Brooks in the
Yeah.
War Room is desperately looking to do for underwriting gigs.
Okay. Yeah. My issue has never been, and I feel you because you feel like all this. You think all that stuff that comes with it is the stuff that holds you back, but I think it's more, even for particularly for me, it's more just me getting out of my head because I care less. I care about the money, sure, in the sense that I want to be able to make profit and hit the number and all that great stuff. But I think the struggle I have, and I think most people, particularly not army, but military people have, is having the ability to let go, right? Letting go of something and relying on somebody else, because we always get the trust but verify thing, and it's just a matter of running into the right people and then networking the right people and building that relationship and getting to the fact where you can just trust them 100% and not be concerned or worried. So I think that you're absolutely right. It's a lot that comes with it, but
I'm so glad that I
at
let
this point,
go
no
of
choice.
problems that I'm not good at.
Yeah, but how did you? So, and this is the part that I'm always curious about is how did you get to that point in your head? Because you weren't always there, right? You were against it at some point.
Yeah, if you find, I have this partner. I have two partners. One's named Roderick. One's named VJ. Roderick does asset management.
Okay.
He wakes up at 7 a.m. He goes to work. He comes home at 6 p.m. every night, and he just works. I'm not built that way. And he doesn't want to do financials, and he doesn't want to do capital raising, and he doesn't want to go on the internet and do podcasts, and he doesn't want to do the networking, and he's not talking to brokers, and he's just like, the deals that come to him, he fucking works them. And so I'm like, good fit, right? Reliable, hardworking.
Right. He fits
has a known sort of. In fact, I mentioned to you Ryan. I love Ryan, but the problem with Ryan is that he's not sure what he wants to do right now. He's not like dialed in. So he's like, he's like, I'll do that. Oh, no, I'm going to do that over there. Oh, can I help you over here? Can I do this? Can I do this? And so he's like kind of all over the place. And I'm like, you could probably do a lot of different things, but that also means I don't know what you're going to do. So when I find a partner that's like, oh, I know what they do. They do this one thing or this one set of things, like, so Roderick is like, he's an asset manager, right? He's an asset manager. He's not a project manager. He's not systems. He's not accountable. Like, he's not going to, he's not good at reporting. He's not good at financials. He's good at going to the property every day, dealing with getting tenants in there, getting problem solved, dealing with vendors, getting projects fixed. So in a small scale, he's a good project manager, but he's not good at like Whereas my other partner, VJ, is a project manager for Microsoft. He does not want to be seen. He does not want to talk to people, right? He's like, I'll deal with the taxes, the insurance, the bank. I'll do the payouts. I'll do the K1s, right? I'll do the monthly reports. I'll do the underwriting. And he'll deal with all the technical details, stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, great. I'll find the deal and I'll raise the money and I'll talk to the investors every month.
Right.
And so I got out of my head about taking those things because I was like, first, I think I had to put myself in a position where it was a deal where it was just more than one person could do. If you keep doing deals that you can do yourself, then you'll find ways to be like, F it, I'll just do it myself. But if you get into a deal where you're like, I literally have to have help, then you might find like, oh, I better find some help I like working with, you know?
Okay. That's solid advice.
So yeah. And then secondly is, I mean, dude, like clear roles and responsibilities and understanding, like, you know, you mentioned before, and you seem like you're a pretty avid people person. So like, you know, people are different. Newsflash, people are different. And so like some people, you know, you just gotta get to know people a little bit and understand that, are you a good talker or are you a good doer? And if you're a good, you know, talker, you know, get them in sales. But if you're a good doer, it's like, what are you good at doing? And just kind of understanding like where people are actually good versus what they say or what they want to be good at. And then like just putting them in that role and saying, hey, look, you know, you're good at this. I want you to do this. And they should light up. You know, if you have to give somebody a job, you don't want somebody who's doing a job as a partner. You want somebody that's like, Alex, I don't want to talk to people. Oliver, I don't want to talk to people. I only want to do the monthly financials. Can I just do the monthly financials? And you're like, heck yeah.
Say less. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna focus on that. I'm gonna hit up Brian too.
Yeah, you should.
And talk to him. 100%. So how'd you get into capital raising? And because I saw on your profile you're actually an editor and you do editing and stuff like that. And clearly, obviously, because of background, your mic and you got the skills clearly.
No kids.
How'd you get into that stuff? No kids got you into it.
Well, I just need no kids, so I'm like, okay, I do real estate. I have two. No, you have two jobs. You have 3 jobs. You have real estate. You have military. You have kids. I have no kids. And I'm in the military, so I'm like real estate, cameras, and travel the world. Those are my 3 jobs.
Dude, your pictures are dope too. By the way, I was browsing through. I was like, oh, okay, Alex is not a joke. Okay, got it.
Thank you.
It's pretty dope, man. Yeah, absolutely. Nice. So how are you doing that? And you're still, because you're still capital raising, right? Like you said a second ago.
I've taken a bit of a break from it. I've taken a bit of a break for it because I came out here to Maui to build Brandon Turner's podcast, and I focused pretty exclusively on that.
Solely on that. Yeah.
But I think that's gonna end here soon. So I'm gonna get back to capital raising, and I'll probably end up raising about $1.5 million this year. So I've already raised about $500,000 for a project out in Maryland that we're gonna go do. I'm gonna go do a video for that project, so that'll help tremendously.
Of course.
And then I just spent about $5,000 on building out a full CRM specifically for capital raising. By the same person who built out Jay Scott's process. So,
okay. And this is like your own version of your CRM, right? You intend to sell and do all that, or it's just personal?
It's just for me
at this point. Okay.
It's just for me, but I need systems. I'm not good at systems.
For yourself, have you found that because you're so extroverted, because you're so outgoing and you do all that though you don't like structure normally, structure does really well for you, particularly like systems and stuff like that?
Somebody's got to be paying attention to structure. But honestly, I'm in a weird point where I've made enough money for myself, but not enough to hire people. So now I'm in a point where I'm like, okay, Alex, I got to spend the next probably 2 years building out enough equity and income in the company that I can bring on not just partners on a project, or employees. I have a VA who is getting better. I'm finally getting her more meaningful work, but like I have to get more robust systems, and some of that is just, you know, I've been having a laugh. You know, I spent 30 years broke,
Right.
then I spent 8 years making money. Then the last 2 years, I basically was like, I'm going to travel the
Right.
world with my camera because I can. And now it's like,
Right.
okay, it's time to get back to work and like really build something. And so I think,
Right.
yeah, I will not be I have no interest in partnering with other, like, you know, bipolar extroverts like myself. I have to get people that are even keeled and reliable,
Right.
and integrator types, systems types. And I have plenty of those friends, and
Got it.
I have no problem making friends with those people and meeting those people. It's just, you know, finding some that I really like working with, and then being able to afford to hire them full time and say, hey, we're going to build this thing together.
Okay, so it's more about, at this point, it's more about finding those integrators and the systems people and the scaling part of it than there's anything else. You already did the hard work.
I know how to do it now. It's just, yeah, can I scale it enough to where it makes enough money that I can start having an escape velocity, where it's like, hey, it's got to make enough money that I can hire somebody, which then can make more money, which means I can hire more people, which means I can make more money.
Right. It's just it's a vicious circle at that point. It's just a circle.
Yeah, but right now it's just been a weird place where I've made it. I sort of, again, I just sort of made enough to, because I don't have kids and a wife, right? I just made enough. I was like, hey, I made enough for myself, and that's fine. And then you're like, oh, actually, I want a bigger life than that. I'm about to get married. I don't know if we'll have kids, but you know, like, I also, I don't know. I want to be able to do more. So.
No, I get it. First of all, congratulations on marriage. That's gonna be fun.
Thank you.
I'm interested to see what those photos look like at the wedding, because anybody who does their photos, right, and then does their own photos of the wedding, it's another tier. It's another
I don't
level.
think I'll do that.
Somebody's really taking care at that point. No. So, but yeah, like you know, it's I think that's the. I'll say this. I feel like certain personality, that's kind of like the thing, right? Once you get more, you always feel like you want more. But you hit the point where you're kind of in that weird place where you want to do the next thing, but you don't, like you said, you don't have the funds to be able to support a whole staff and do what you do. It's kind of, it's a slow piece.
Yeah, I think as we grow, like, you know, I was coming out of this angsty period where I was like, hey, I need freedom. And so then I kind of got like level 1 freedom, and I'm like, hey, I can live, but that's not like thriving, right? I mean, I'm fine. I'll never starve. I'll never have to. I'm free, but I'm not like abundantly free. I'm like baseline free. And so I'm like, okay, can I be free and continue to invest? You know, save and invest and buy a Porsche and buy a nice house. I don't have that, so I'm like, all right, let's go to work.
That's what you gotta get. Right.
Let's go to work. And also, again, you know, one of those things that's, as you get more life experience, you find the things you like to do. The things I like to do is, my favorite thing about my business is that every year my business pays out. Last year we paid out $130,000 in investor distributions, and this year it'll be like 160, and I'd love to get that number up to $1 million. So I'm like, how can I? I'm like, that's a different level of motivation. So I'm like, hey, I have to go to work, because if I work, I can get other people paid, and I can give them now the same freedom that I give myself, at least baseline freedom. So those are the sort of things that are motivating me right now.
You want a bunch? Yeah, I'm with you. That's I think that's the ultimate goal for me. My biggest thing, and I tell this to people all the time, like, as I'm working to figure out how to capital raise and improve capital raising, my thought process is, I don't want to be the only one who's well off. Like, I don't want to take a trip to Spain and drive down the coast of Spain in a nice 911 or something and be the only one there. Like, it's no fun being that well off by yourself.
True
that. You know what I mean? Like, I want friends who are the same place. So I get it.
I went to Spain last year, actually. I actually went to Spain 23 and 22.
Really? How'd you like it?
I went to do a thing called the Camino de Santiago. Have you ever heard of this?
No, I've never heard of this.
Well, in 23 last year, we did a 170-mile walk. across.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, across 14 days.
Jesus Christ.
Across 14 days.
Okay.
From Portugal to Spain.
So was it straight up backpacking, just like a bunch of people just walking, almost like a pilgrimage?
It is a pilgrimage. Yeah.
Jesus. Wow. How many people was it?
It was my fiance and her family, so it was like eight of us, 9 of us. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but millions of people
That's
do
not
that.
too bad.
Millions of people do that pilgrimage every year.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
it's supposedly in Santiago de Compostela, the city, is supposedly where the remains of the apostle Saint James are buried. Yeah,
Really?
one of the 12 disciples. So so
can you meshes the name of it to me?
So it's like a 9.
There's no way I'm gonna remember if I try and write it down. It's not gonna happen.
It's like a 1,200-year-old pilgrimage.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I went in 22 and 23. I did 80 miles in 22, and then I did 170 in 23. We literally started on the coast of Portugal and walked north up to central Spain.
Sheesh, that sounds awesome.
It's awesome, and
that absolutely sounds
cheap
dope.
Because you're just walking.
Oh yeah. So you didn't stay in a hotel or anything? Y'all camped out? How'd you do that?
We stayed in shitty hotels. The first year I did it with my soon-to-be father-in-law. We stayed in hostels for like $8 a night. Like we fucking roughed it, bro.
That's hardcore right there.
Yeah, it was not bad for me. I was impressed by him because he's like 60. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, this guy's just whatever it takes.
Yeah. It's right. Yeah, absolutely. That's phenomenal.
Yeah. So I feel you about all the things you're saying about like want to go do stuff together. I'm like, I 100%, I get it. Yeah. And again, it helps where you're like,
dude.
And then let's see, in 2022, David and I did a retreat in Guatemala, where a bunch of us went down to Guatemala for 4 days and hiked this monster volcano.
What's that? I think Dave posted some photos of that, right? Much like he just did on the last trip he went to. Yeah, I remember he posted photos. I was like, damn, that looks like a good time right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know about walking. My knees will explode probably at that point. But, I think, what was it? I watched, what's the show called? Top Gear, the old Top Gear show. Right? And I remember when they drove from one side of Spain down and they were running to abandoned houses and stuff like that. And then they did it a couple times. Spain, Italy, they did Alaska. And you know what I mean? I was like, oh, I want to do that. Like, I want to get into a nice ride. I don't have to own it. I just want to drive it from the tippy to the end, right? And just do it with a friend or a couple friends and just have a good time and just share that journey, that experience. It just, I don't know, man. It's just something about it.
Dude, traveling with people and like being able to just like pick up your life and go travel, it's just, it's amazing. So, dude, you're on the right track. Okay, let's talk about money. How can I help?
Yeah, so my bad. All right, let's talk capital raising because I think that is where my skill set really lies. Much like you, I'm more comfortable on camera. I'm still getting my camera set up together. This thing is trash right now, but I'm more comfortable on camera, talking to people, things of that nature, and it just fits for where I am right now because I can't go online and do a bunch of searching. I have to make all phone calls and all that, but I only have like a couple hours after work and before wife wants all her attention.
Okay, what's your website?
That kind of thing. I have a website called theoliverperryshow.com. It needs some love. Okay. I don't think it's there
that's
yet.
okay. I'm going somewhere with this. I'm making a point actually.
Okay.
I'm making an uncomfortable point.
I'm all right with those.
The Oliver
Perryshow.com.
Okay. Subscribe to our mailing list. My first thing I would tell you is I don't want to follow your remarkable journey. I want to care about my remarkable journey. Okay. Right? It ain't about you. It's about them. Second, you have a subscribe to mailing list on here. That's great. How many people are on your mailing list?
About 50.
Okay, perfect. I raised $1.4 million from a email list of 300 people.
Okay.
So, dude, yeah, you're in the money, dude. You're in the money.
I'm
How many
working on it.
how many
Slow
downloads did your
and
podcast get?
steady.
Do you know?
No, not off the top of my head. It's not much. I think I'm just getting to double digits. I think I'm like 20 or 30,
Good.
but I've been doing it for a long time. But it hasn't been. That's the part I've got to change at some point here soon and focus on.
Yeah. How do you record? What
Once I
software
get
do you use
some
to
deals
record?
done. I've got Ecamm Live, so I use Ecamm Live when I first started 2 years ago, and then I changed my camera to a Sony. I'm about to go back to Canon. Canon was just better for me on video. It just looked better.
Gotcha.
My Sony doesn't look as good, but it's better for travel and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude, you're in the money. We just gotta. Yeah, I would
Tighten up.
I would say instead of like, hey, follow my remarkable journey from zero to mogul, I would say something like, hey, like I'm on a mission, or like let's something like the sentiment should be like, hey, if you want to buy real estate with me, something like that. Like if it's like sign up to my mailing list, it's like I want to know what I'm getting, and what I'm getting is opportunities to make money in real estate.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. It's the what's in it for me model.
Yeah, what's in it for them? And what's in it for them is opportunities to make money.
Right.
So,
okay.
And then what's your, and then the rest, dude, is just like, as you're doing deals, you just have to yell about them. I mean, sometimes it's a little awkward because you're like, dude, I just did this deal. You know,
feels obnoxious.
Yeah, it's a little obnoxious.
Yeah,
but like,
right.
You just have to get out of your. I mean, I have to get out of my head a lot of times because I hang out with people that are so successful that I'm like, oh, I bought a fucking, this little deal, and people I'm next to Brandon who just bought like a $200 million deal, and I'm like, dude, I just bought this. I just bought this fucking duplex. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you're like, all right, well, but you have to, because for a lot of people, a duplex is like, dude, you're a superstar.
It's huge. Nah, I think you're right. I think this is the part that I struggle, and this is kind of why I joined the War Room. So I'm in Go Abundance Emerge and the War Room, and it's like I just see everybody I know just taking off, and I'm like, man,
dude,
I'm not doing enough.
No, you're doing. Actually, I think you're doing enough. I think you're spread thin. I'm like, full-time job, wife and kids.
Yeah.
Trying to buy real estate. Yeah. Podcasting. Website.
Yeah.
That's already too much for you to do good. For you to do great at all of them. So it's like, okay, how can you outsource some of this? How can you dial down? So.
And that's what I'm doing.
In a lot of ways, it's the same. It's the same as me. I'm like, dude, this is a money problem, because if I had more deals, then I could hire more people, and they could do the podcast, and they could do the website, and they could do the newsletter. Instead, you're doing all of it. So it's like, dude, focus on the thing that makes money, and then hire out everything else.
Yeah.
That's excuse me.
All right.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to get. I'm not. Let me be clear. I'm not giving you advice from experience. I'm giving you advice from like, hey, I'm in the same boat. This is how I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. No. I think your advice is spot on. Like this is the debate I had to have with myself a couple weeks ago. I was like, yo, if I could make money from the podcast, I would be. Well, not if I could. When I'm making money from the podcast, I will be. But I can't make money from the podcast if the ultimate goal is to be at $60K a month and I have so many properties. So the priority's got to be, all right, we got to take down some properties. We got to do the real estate.
You can have some. You can have a. Exactly. Dude, you can have a. My VA does my podcast now. Nobody listens to my podcast, but, well, anyways, that's a whole other story. The point is, you can get a VA to do a lot of that stuff. So you're like, okay, get enough properties where you can afford $1,000 or $1,200 a month, and now you can multiply work. And now you can do your podcast, and your podcast becomes 2 hours a week, where you record and then maybe follow up, but she does the rest, or he does the rest. And the emails. Now the emails are going out and somebody else is doing them. And then like, hey, taking the podcast clips and cutting them up into short form clips and posting those on social, right? That's somebody else. So it's like now you can multiply.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to focus on the deals then.
Yep. I'm in the same boat, bro.
Dude. I don't know. I mean, it's good to know I'm not the only one. That's what say that. It's definitely good to know I'm not the only person.
You're not the only one.
Sheesh. Now, what branch are you in?
I was in the Army.
Okay, you were Army. Now, are you golfing now that you're in Maui?
Am I golfing?
Are you golfing?
No.
I feel like if you're when I'm in Hawaii, right? I went out with one time with my buddy to Turtle Bay and where is it? Not it's on Oahu. Turtle Bay or Turtle Cove or something like that. Dude, I had never seen anything like that. And since that time, I'm like, I got like if I go to Hawaii, I got to play golf.
Okay.
I just have to. It feels like it's a mandatory thing. You know what I mean? But that's not your thing. You're not playing.
Dude, actually, I'm like kind of I'm kind of shitty at Hawaii. I don't golf. I don't surf.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of bad at Hawaii.
I mean, if I'm honest, I'm black. I'm not about to get out there and surf. If I'm honest, I don't think that's a black thing.
I don't think you're allowed.
It's against the code.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's in the bylaws somewhere. You know, we shouldn't be surfing. But I don't know, man. Hawaii is it does have a lot of dope stuff. I mean, I imagine you've done some hiking out there though, because Hawaii is like it's gorgeous out there.
I've done some hiking,
particularly Maui. Maui even more so. Because Maui, you got all 4 seasons, right?
No, you get 1 season. You get summer and mild summer.
Oh, Big Island's the one that does that. Okay, never mind. You're right. You're absolutely right. All right, sorry. Well, I got us off track again. Let's get back to money. Okay. So hold on. Let me give them marching instructions here. I got focus on what's in it for them, and then continue to build a list, obviously, and then focus on real estate itself.
Dude,
focus on what makes money.
When you find the deals, all you have to do is just get a little uncomfortable, just to yell about the deals as loud as you fucking can.
Right.
And then when you yell about the deals,
even if you don't close them, or just the ones you're going to close.
If you're working on I mean, I would yell. The ones that you're going to close, you yell as loud as you can. The ones that you're not going to close, you yell a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you tell people like, "Hey, this is why it didn't." Because there's credibility in walking away from deals.
Right, it didn't close. Yeah, that's fair. That's a good point.
Credibility in walking away from deals. There's nothing about like there's nothing. How do I say it? Underneath the marketing, because there's some marketing value of being like, bro, I just closed this deal. But if you just like, I just closed this deal, right. And then a year later, it's like, but if it's not making any money.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, unless you're getting the marketing, like you're getting so much marketing benefit, because some people do that. They have deals that don't make money, but they just yell and brag about like they closed, and then they lie about it making money. And then they get customers for like their coaching or their education. And so then the deals actually become loss leaders for the education. And so like there's definitely some of that going on, but you know, that's fucking sleazy and fraudulent. So unless you want to go that road.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, I don't want to be a trash can. Like my biggest thing is like, and this is, and I'm sure you can relate to this, but this is the whole imposter syndrome piece, right? Like I've done a flip, I've done a 16 unit, I've done a wholesale, but I keep thinking like, man, I don't want to be like, you know, said person online, whoever it might be, and I close this wholesale deal. Man, I just partnered with somebody else. I did the advertising stuff, helped him follow up, and he did a good chunk of the work. I don't want to get on there lying and bragging about how much I've done and I haven't done as much. You know what I mean?
Grant Cardone don't buy his own deals anymore.
That's a fact.
You know, Brandon doesn't spend that much time buying his own deals anymore, right? He's got a team.
Yeah.
Well, there's value in like,
I don't know, man.
Like, I haven't been to my property in a year and a half, but I still own it, man. I still own it. I'm still responsible for it. So as long as you're responsible, then go tell the world like, hey, this is what I'm doing to get ahead. So I don't think you have to be like, you know, don't lie. Also, don't sell yourself short.
That's I'm typing this down as you're saying.
Let me ask you another way. I'll ask you another one, and then I got to split. But maybe ask you another way.
Yeah, let's do
it. This is just a good way I think about things. Like, is your current way working?
What does that mean?
I mean, are you happy with the way things are currently working?
No, because I'm not making any money off the deals. Well, I haven't closed the deals yet. Hitting the
Okay.
goal.
Well, then you go do something else.
Yeah.
So I say that to what I'm trying to get at is like when you're like, hey, I gotta yell more. I'm like, well, how much are you yelling now? And is that working? If it's not working, it's like maybe you should yell less. But I don't think less is the right way. So you got to yell more.
No.
You see what I'm saying?
Less ain't it, because I'm barely yelling. Yeah. I'm with you.
I think we both agree that there's a too much.
Right.
But like probably too much is a lot. You're probably far away from too much. So like you could probably yell more without getting in trouble.
Yeah, that's a fact. I'm doing too much, but I'm not yelling enough, I think is the thing.
Get some partners to do the things you don't want to do. The whatever it is, the ops, and then you spend more time yelling.
Say less. I'm on it. Get off these things, Alex. Go conquer the world.
It's so good to meet you. Let's stay in touch.
Pleasure's all mine, man. I can't wait.
Here, hang tight. I'm going to stop the recording, but don't leave just yet.
Okay.